Another cause of fatty neck hump is arthritis of the bone, known as osteoarthritis, and arthritis of the discs, called degenerative disc disease. Meet Elizabeth. She is a 67-year-old office administrator who came to see me with years of neck tension. She had real concerns that she wasn't standing straight and had pain when she was sitting and working at her desk. The only relevant past history was that she had had a severe road traffic accident at the age of 21, where she lost consciousness and had extensive body bruising. We naturally took x-rays. Unbelievably, no x-rays had ever been taken before. And the x-ray results confirmed what I suspected. Elizabeth had severe forward head posture, but much worse. Her head was so far forward that gravity eventually pulled the weight of the head downward, causing the lower vertebra in her neck to kink, and that kinking eventually led to the vertebra fusing together. Elizabeth's head no longer sits right on top of her shoulders. I think you can see that. It's way out in front. When we lose our ideal body alignment, often due to traumas like Elizabeth's car accident, there's an increased mechanical stress on our body tissues. There's an interesting law in physics called Wolff's Law. Now listen closely to this. It states that bone will always adapt to the loads under which it's placed. So with Elizabeth, the load on her lower neck joints and discs was increased as the weight of her head increased because it was sitting so far forward. Think of a bowling ball. If you hold a bowling ball close to your body, you can hold on to it for a long time, right? Now take the same bowling ball and outstretch your arms. How long do you think you can hold the ball way out in front of you? Not very long, right? You fatigue quickly. Why? Because you've lost your ideal alignment. You're out of good postural alignment. The ball is no longer close to your body, just like Elizabeth's head is no longer over top of her shoulders where it belongs. So Wolff's Law tells us that Elizabeth's bones, the lower neck vertebra, now need to adapt to the new increased load. And they do this by laying down more bone spurs, which you see here. And that helps to actually stabilize the area, but it also really increases the stiffness and decreases her flexibility greatly. Sadly, all of this bone remodeling went so far it led to spinal fusion for Elizabeth. Now, don't be confused into thinking that osteoarthritis is out of your control and it's genetic or due to your age. If osteoarthritis was really due to age, and we've all heard that, right? Oh, that's normal for your age. Then we'd all have it, and we'd get it everywhere in the body to the same degree, but we don't. We get osteoarthritis in the areas where the bony structures are under stress. For Elizabeth, that stress point is where her neck kinks the wrong way, and that's where the osteoarthritis is. So osteoarthritis is influenced by Wolff's Law. So if your alignment and posture are good, there's no increased load and no bone remodeling occurs. Therefore, no arthritis. Now suddenly there's a real medical reason to have excellent posture. Elizabeth's extreme forward head position increased the weight of her head, and that caused the lower spinal curve to reverse or kink. We call that a kyphosis, you'll recall from the last lecture. Now that kinking led to a gradual wearing away and narrowing of the discs, and the spaces between the vertebra continued to narrow, and more bony spurring developed, and eventually this caused fusion between vertebra 5, 6, and 7. As a result of the fusion, Elizabeth will never be able to straighten her neck completely, and the bony hump will stay. The fat that was laid down over top of the kink in her spine will remain in place. It's the body's way of protecting that area. So degeneration, osteoarthritis, is another cause of the fatty neck hump. But of course, the real cause was trauma, the car accident for Elizabeth. Let's review the process. Car accident, leading to microdamage to the joints and discs, altering the spinal curves, perhaps even forward head posture, and then gravity causes that forward head posture to continue to get worse. which will go on to wear down the discs. And if that's left untreated, it can go on to actually put a kink into the spine, a kyphosis, which will then cause degeneration of the discs at that stress point. And if that's left unchecked, even fusion. Because the forward head posture was never addressed for Elizabeth, gravity continued to pull her head forward and downward until the weight of the head overwhelmed the vertebral discs, wore them down so much until the vertebra eventually fused. This is sad indeed. Elizabeth was a wonderful client, and we worked a lot on her tight muscles and stiff neck joints, and she learned exercises to maintain her posture at least where it was, so the forward head wouldn't get any worse. In fact, although we couldn't get rid of the hump due to the fused spine in that area, we did manage to get her out of pain, and she was thrilled with that result.